Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple salad from Romagna in the east of Emilia-Romagna. It's a dish I love and it's super simple. Radicchio e bruschiettini is its name. This is the radicchio, the red lettuce that you'd be familiar with, and the bruschiettini are the burnt bits, literally, although we're not going to quite burn them, and that is some diced pancetta, which we're going to fry off to toss through our salad. And the dressing of the salad is the oil from the pancetta and some balsamic vinegar, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Now, to make a vegetarian version of this, you simply make croutons instead of frying the pancetta and use a little more olive oil to compensate for the pancetta fat. Now, balsamic vinegar, it's a big subject, especially in Emilia-Romagna. So the world's best balsamic vinegar comes from Modena, and there's two types primarily, then there's other variations. The aceto balsamico tradizionale di Modena always comes in this bottle. Looks like that, it's 100 mils, it's got that distinctive shape, and most importantly, it's got this red and gold EU logo on it, which says it's DOP designation, what we call protected designation of origin. Then there's also very good Aceto Balsamico di Modena, IGP, or Indicazione Geografica Tipica. You have to excuse me if I haven't pronounced that quite right. And that has the blue and gold EU logo on it. So they are both products that are identified as being traditional to Modena, but they're very different. This one, and this is an entry-level one, will cost you about $10. This one will cost you anywhere from $170 to $350. Sounds a lot, doesn't it? But when you see how it's made, you'll understand why. This one contains nothing but grape must. It's aged for a minimum of 12 years, that's around the 170 mark, up to 25 years. But it also gets much older, but it only has those two age statements, 12 or 25. And the reason for that is it's aged by fractional blending, similar to sherry. So multiple casks, it all goes into one cask, and then each year a little bit comes out of this cask and goes into the next cask, and so on and so on. And they bottle out of the last cask. And so that last cask contains some that's at least 12 years old or 25 years old, depending on which one we're talking about, but it obviously also contains some that's much older. Now, in between, and this is still in the IGP category because 12 or 25 is all you get in that category, you can get all sorts of different shaped bottles and all sorts of levels. This one's an in-between one that is already quite sweet and syrupy. This one, as I said, much more entry level. Oh, it hit me in the back of the throat. Much more entry level. It's still a delicious vinegar, but much more acidic. Lots more acetic acid going on there. Here's my almost used up one, and can you see how thick that is? This is a 25-year-old, so this is one that you drizzle onto ice cream, believe it or not. It still has a touch of sour. It's not cloyingly sweet, but it's much more sweet than this or this. So these we reserve for dripping onto gnocchi, dripping onto ice cream, little drizzle on ravioli, for example. These we can dress salads with, but what I like to do is reduce this down by, when it's this young, probably by 2/3. So I'll put 1/4 cup in a small saucepan and reduce it down to about a tablespoon, and then there's no way it has the complexity of this, but it has a little bit of sweetness, and for some dishes that works really well. For this salad it works perfectly because what we're going to do is once the pancetta is cooked, we're going to drizzle in some of this. The heat of the pan is going to reduce it. We certainly wouldn't want to be using this for that. And then we're going to dress the radicchio with the pancetta, the oil, the vinegar, and of course we'll finish it with a good drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. So I hope that helps clarify the mystery of balsamic vinegar. Let's get our simple salad made. Now in my recipe I've said half a head of radicchio, but I was assuming you'd have a large head. This is a nice small one, so we'll use the whole head. If you're making all of the recipes in this month's kit, save a few leaves of the radicchio, 2 or 3, to go into your chicken salad. And if you forget, that's fine too, because the chicken salad is delicious even without it. I just like it for the contrast of the colour. Now, radicchio is quite bitter, but because we're going to have the sweet balsamic vinegar on this, it'll be fine without any other lettuces. Get it ready because we want to pour the hot pancetta and balsamic over it to dress it. So there it is. Let's go and cook our pancetta, add our vinegar, and it's that easy. Salad's ready. Let's go to the stove. So our pan's over a medium-high heat. In with our pancetta. This one actually has a little bit of chili on it, which isn't traditional, but that's all I could get, and I actually don't mind a bit of chili, so that's fine. But just normal flat pancetta if you can get it, otherwise with chili or even with pepper. We're just going to cook this for a few minutes until that fat all renders down, and then we'll add a splash of our balsamic. Now if you've got this on a good medium to medium high heat, you are going to need to keep it moving around so it doesn't burn. We might call it bruciatini, but that's only figurative. We don't want burnt pancetta, we just want well-rendered pancetta. And there we go. I think that is rendered down enough. This will spit, but in with our vinegar, give it a good shake. It's reducing down, which is what we want. See how it's syrupy? It's also emulsified with the oil. We'll turn that off, and over our salad it goes. Okay, let's get that over our salad while it's nice and hot, because that's just going to wilt the leaves a little bit. And for once, I'm not going to toss it with my hands, given that I know how hot it is. We'll just give that a toss through with a fork and spoon. Oh, it smells fabulous. Now remember, if you don't like pancetta or you can't get it, just cook up a bunch of croutons and dress this with a beautiful olive oil. Let me grab a bowl and we'll plate up. Okay, before we plate up, I just want to make sure that there's enough vinegar in there. Well, I think it can do with a tiny splash more. Now remember, this is quite acidic, so don't go crazy, but I just want a little more acid. Now, onto our plate, and the good thing is most of those croutons seem to have fallen to the bottom, and that's good because we want to see them. So they're now going to appear on the top when we plate this up. And if they don't, you can dig a few out to scatter over the top to make sure people can see their bruciatini. There's a beautiful restaurant I love in the city of Ravenna, and the first time I went there specifically because it had this salad on the menu, and I had read about it but I'd never tasted it, and it did not disappoint. Good drizzle of olive oil, even though we've got the pancetta lardo on there, a little olive oil doesn't go astray. The pancetta is salty, but there's a lot of salad here, so I want a little extra salt as well. And there we have it. Insalata di radicchio e bruciatini, a classic Romagnolo dish. Enjoy.